Welcome to the next video in my How to Get Good at Any Game series. And if you want context on my definition of good, the first video will be linked in the video description. But today's topic, we're actually starting to get into that new player experience of you just picked up a game, what do you do? And I will primarily be taking this from a new player perspective where this is the first game in that genre that you have ever played. So if it's your first FPS, Battle Royale, MOBA, whatever, that's the perspective we're taking here with. What do you do when you just download the game and you're ready to start playing? This may sound a bit controversial, but in my opinion, the best thing you can do when you just start a new game is to just play the game. And I know that sounds very simple, but I will explain what I mean by this. Outside of going through the tutorial, checking out the controls, you need to just jump in as a new player and take on the new player experience of having absolutely no idea what's going on aside from maybe half of the inputs. In other words, let yourself be bad at the game and experience it. Being able to let yourself be bad at a game will make it a lot easier for you to let yourself be good at a game. It kind of helps get the ego out of the way and any other mental traps where you think you're somehow so good that you don't need to improve on certain things. No, let yourself be bad so you'll really get that feeling of, wow, I know absolutely nothing. And yet, that sounds like a great way to kill your motivation. But if the game you're playing is actually fun, then even when you're going around having no idea what's happening, it will still be an entertaining experience. And even the tiny details that you learn across that new player period, they're going to feel like large challenges that you overcome as you manage to win your first 1v1 against an actual player or get a clutch in a fight, whatever. But that new player experience is crucial and is the foundation of improvement because that gives you your base level without any other interferences from, say, guides on the internet or the wiki knowledge or what the Redditors think. This gives you your baseline of how competent you are without anyone else's help. And depending on how much experience you have with other games, this new player experience could be anywhere from like 10 to 100 hours. Though I think for most people watching this video, it will probably sit around the 10 to 20 hour mark, being where you start to move out of that complete new player level and move on to like beginner status or novice or something. So why not just go straight to all of the guides and watch the streamers play and then get into the game? And the reason I don't like that approach is you're not truly getting that new player experience. And understanding the new player experience will help you better appreciate the growth that you get. And it will also make it easier for you to grasp the fundamentals and how you as a person respond to the fundamentals of the game. So if you watch 100 plus hours of a streamer play this game before you actually ever play it to have a good grasp of how the game works, you're most likely going to end up just playing like that streamer, or at least attempting to. And the fundamentals you're going to start building are going to be based on the knowledge that you get, which is both a good thing and a bad thing. In the positive way, it means you skip a lot of the pain and suffering of not having any idea of what you're doing. That comes at a cost of being able to problem solve and grow in the game from your own perspective. And having that personalized perspective of the game is going to help you develop a unique and creative playstyle long term. Otherwise, you run the risk of playing just like someone else that you see and not having enough of the organic fundamentals because you didn't let yourself go through that early trial and error period that is going to make it difficult for you to grow once you do actually want to start getting good at a game. So from my perspective, this is a very important step and it needs to be something that you just let happen to make your development of fundamentals and your understanding of the game based on your perspective and not the perspective of others. Because while it can be easier to let other people tell you what to do, it's more important for you to know how to play the game from your perspective, and then once you have that, start taking on perspectives from the global community, the wiki, your favorite streamer, whatever. But you need to try it yourself before you let other people give you advice, basically. Otherwise, you will only play as good as their advice is. And also getting your ego smashed a bunch of times will make it a lot easier for you to learn. Because one of the best ways to learn things is to treat knowledge like you're a beginner. But how will you know to treat knowledge as a beginner if you never let yourself be a beginner? And to let yourself be a beginner, you have to just click play with next to no knowledge about how the game actually works or what you're doing. Obviously, some games have very extensive tutorials, but even then, you're not going to know much at all about what you're actually doing. It's still fine. And for the first 5 to 10 hours of playing the game, if you're brand new to the genre, you really are going to have no idea what you're doing. So that gives you plenty of time to let yourself enjoy the game without any pressure, because you're not good enough to deserve having pressure put on you at that point. Just ignore the people that say you're bad, because you are. There's nothing that can be done about it except you play the game more and get better. So, but it's okay to own being bad when you're just starting out. It's not a bad thing that you start out bad. That means you have room to grow. Like, if you've never played this game before and within an hour you're, quote, good at it, that game has no depth. And this entire series is going to mean nothing to you. Unless you're just a genius. Which, again, this series probably won't mean anything to you then. But if you're a normal person, like I think I'm normal at least, you have to actually work at something in order to be good at it. And that requires letting yourself fail and be a bottom level player and learn from that state upwards. And once you do that about, say, 5 to 20 hours, then it's time to start looking at what you can do to actually improve. But during the new player state, just have fun. Click buttons. See what happens when you click the buttons a certain way. There really is no pressure, and you should not be putting pressure on yourself at the start. It's just to have a good time, be inquisitive, treat the game with curiosity, and focus on purely enjoying the game. But I would recommend having voice chat off so that you don't have to hear the negativity of salty people that have no life. Because who knows, maybe this guide will actually be useful enough that you will end up better than them. But it starts with level 0. Anyway, I think that's enough rambling on this topic. We'll start getting into the more juicy elements of player development in later videos, but I believe this is necessary groundwork that has to be laid first. Anyway, if this series seems like it will be interesting to you, I would suggest you subscribe and click the notification bell so you are promptly informed when the next video will drop. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see y'all next time.